Hey guys, welcome back. So for today's video, I wanted to do this makeup look. This is what I wore for my birthday, which was 2 days. So I just filmed it while I was getting ready. It is a half cut crease, kind of brown smoky eye. So yeah, if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. So I am taking my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and I am just going to apply that to my top eyelid, and then I am going to put some on the bottom eyelid as well. So I already did one eye just to not make this video super long, but we are just going to take our finger and we are going to blend in that concealer all around the lid and kind of under the brow to define it a little more. We are going to use this kind of flat top brush, and we are going to be applying the lightest shade in the Morphe palette, and we are just gonna pack that onto the lid just so we can set that concealer so it won't be moving anywhere. Taking this BH Cosmetics fluffy blending brush, we are going to be taking this kind of light brown shade and we are going to be applying that into our crease. We are using this as our transition color, and you just apply as much as you want. If you want it a little lighter, just apply a little. If you want it a little more, then just pack it on until you get the desired amount. Now we are taking this smaller crease brush and I'm going to take this kind of orangey brown shade. It's a little darker than the other one that we first used, and I am just applying that more into the crease to define the crease a little more. And like I said before, you just apply as much as you want to get the desired look. Now going back with the first brush that we used, the BH Cosmetics more fluffy blending brush, we are just going to blend out those two colors, make sure there's no harsh lines. Now taking this crease brush, I don't know where it's from, but I'll link it down below. We are taking these two brown shades and we are going to be applying that into the crease as well to add more definition. This brush, I don't know if you could tell, but it did have a little more pointy end to it, and that is just to get a little more into the crease to kind of define it more. And I am moving in circular motions just so we can blend that out into the other two colors. Since it does have a point, if you don't blend it out, it will just leave it packed in the middle there between your crease. And once again, we are going to go back with the first fluffy blending brush, and we are just going to blend out all of those colors just to make sure they blend in together and there are no harsh lines. Now with this shader brush from BH Cosmetics and the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, we are going to be creating a half cut crease. So here I'm just applying that concealer and I am just going to follow my crease. I feel like I have a pretty defined crease, so I just use that as my guideline. For some reason the camera wasn't focusing here, but I hope you guys can see what I am doing. Once we have carved out that crease, we just want to blend out that concealer and make sure it is all blended so we can apply the eyeshadow on top. With this fluffier shading brush from BH Cosmetics, we are taking that white shade again and we are going to apply that on top of the concealer while it is still tacky, just so it can grab onto that color a little better. For the outer part of our lid, we are taking this smaller blending brush and we are going to go in with this dark brown color, and we are going to apply that on the outer V part of our eyelid. Here you will see that I added more and more of that brown shade just because it is a dark color. We don't want to start off with a lot and not being able to blend it out, so just make sure to start with a small amount, blend it out, and just pack it on until you get the desired look that you want. Going back with that second brush that we used with no added product, I am just going to be blending out that dark brown into the crease with the rest of the colors, just so it looks a little more blended and no harsh edges. And then once again, back with that fluffy brush just to blend in all of those colors together. For eyelashes, we are taking these Pure Pro eyelashes. I'll link the name of those lashes down below. Moving on to our face, I am using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer, the matte one, and I am just going to be applying that all over my face. My skin is more like combination. Some parts are dry and then some parts are oily, or some days it'll be oily, it just depends. But since it was my birthday, I just wanted it to be matte all day and not having to risk me like getting super oily, my makeup getting ruined, and having to blot. For foundation, I am also using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, and the shade that I am using, I'll link that down below. We are just going to apply that all in our face, and I actually really like the spatula that this foundation has. I somewhat like this foundation. I'm still deciding on it. I mean, I'll use it up and stuff, but I just don't like the smell that it has. But I do like the coverage that it gives. I am going to be blending out that foundation with my Real Techniques blending sponge on the flat side, and the sponge is damp, and we are just going to blend all that out. And I just like the way the sponge leaves the foundation looking smooth and no streaks, so yeah. We are going to conceal using the Photo Focus concealer. This one is in the shade Light Ivory, and I actually really like this concealer. At first it felt a little greasy, but it works really good under my eyes. It doesn't crease as much, and it does have a pretty good coverage. I am going to apply that concealer under my eyes, on my chin, forehead, nose, and Cupid's bow. Going back with the Real Techniques blending sponge, and I am going to be using the other side, the one that we didn't use for the foundation, and I am just going to be blending out that concealer. I do like to go a little into the nose just to make that nose look a little smaller, and I do like to carve my eyeshadow out with the concealer. After everything is blended out, I like to go back to the flat side that we applied our foundation with, just to blend in everything together. We are going to be baking using this Airspun translucent powder and just the Real Techniques sponge that I use just for the baking. I am just going to be applying that powder everywhere that I concealed. While I bake, I am going to bronze up my face using this Rimmel bronzer and this angled brush, and I am just going to be applying that on my cheeks. I am applying this onto my cheeks, and then I am going to blend it up into my forehead and temple area. I don't really have defined cheekbones, so I do kind of like to make a sucking fishy face just so I can see my cheekbones a little better. Now I am just using the same brush just to bronze / contour the nose a little more. I don't really like to do a full-on contour on the nose. I'm just not used to it, but I do like to give it some color and not leave it blank because I feel like it looks weird with the nose having no makeup and the rest of your face having makeup, so I just like to make everything look a little even. Now we are going to take the same brush and we are going to be applying the Hoola bronzer just to define my cheekbones a little more, kind of like contouring but not really. So yeah, same kissy face, and I do apply that just on the cheekbones. Everything kind of looks a little too orange and like a lot packed on, but I promise we are going to be blending that out. To finish the under eyes, I am taking this angled eye brush and we are going to be going into this orangey shade, and we are just blending that color from outer to inner part of our eye. Going back with that brush that we applied the dark brown with, I am gonna be using the shade next to that dark brown. It is still a little dark, but a little less dark than that one. And I am just going to blend it into the lower lash line just to give it a little more of a smoky look. I blended out that brown onto the outer V just so it can blend in together. The last thing that we are doing for our eyes is applying mascara, and I am using this Rimmel mascara, and I am going to be applying that onto our lower lash line and our upper ones just to blend in the top ones with the lashes. Now to blend everything in together, I am taking this stippling brush and blending everything out. I brush the baking away
And then I kind of try to blend out all the bronzing and somewhat contouring that we did, just so it looks a little more natural and not so orange. For blush, I am using this LA Girl Just Natural blush. I've seen a couple YouTubers talk about this, and I just recently bought it when I went to Ulta, so this was my first time trying it. I am applying the blush on the apples of my cheeks, and then I am also blending it back towards my hairline. As you can see, this blush is very buildable. It isn't super pigmented, but it does give good enough pigmentation, if that makes sense. The name of this blush pretty much describes it. It's just a natural looking blush, nothing too heavy, just a perfect coral color. So I really did like this blush. And then going back with my stippling brush, we are going to blend out that brush with my bronzer and contour. And I guess we are going to blend out that nose contour a little more as well. To define my cheekbones a little more, I am going to be baking under the contouring that we did with that same Airspun powder. And I am just applying it from like my ear to the corner of my lip. To highlight, we are going to use the Maybelline Master Chrome highlight in molten gold and this little fan brush. I like applying my highlight with the fan brush just so it won't emphasize my texture as much. I feel like with those little fluffy blending brushes, it packs on color and it emphasizes the texture a little more. So I like to apply my highlight at the highest point of my cheek, and I like to blend that in towards the hairline and then up towards the temple and forehead eyebrow area. And then I also apply it on the cupid's bow and then on the chin as well as in between the nose. After highlighting, I like to go in with the brush that we applied our blush with no added product and just kind of blending the blush with the highlight. Then the last thing that we are going to do is blend in that baking that we did with our stippling brush, and we are now done with our face. To set our makeup in place, I am using this Mario Badescu spray. This is just the small bottle because I wanted to give it a try, but I really like it. I feel like it refreshes my face and it sets my makeup pretty good. And then I did also decide to go in with this Wet n Wild natural setting spray, just, you know, to make sure everything is set. While my face is drying, I do like to go back and apply some more highlighter just because it makes that highlighter stand out a little more when the face is wet, and I am just going to apply that on my cheekbones and on my cupid's bow. For lips, we are taking this Wet n Wild lipstick, and I believe this one is in Bear to Comment or Bear to New, I don't know. I'll list it down below though, and we are just going to apply this all over our lips. Okay, and then this is the final look. I forgot to film the ending part of this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for more videos.